So it finally happens that Kefla has been eliminated from the Tournament of Power, which, in all honesty, I think it was a necessary elimination, because otherwise we'd be stuck with another mess like the one we had last week. So it happened. We can turn over a new page. Yet at the same time, I did not expect them to be eliminated. I actually thought that what was going to happen was that Goku was going to push them to defuse, and then they would go away. They would kind of like hide behind some rocks, get their stamina back, and then be right back in the game. But it happened. It actually happened. How Kefla was able to push Goku in Ultra Instinct as much as she did is still up for debate. And I feel like the main issue surrounding this fusion being so powerful is the fact that it just goes back to the writing. It goes back to the writing. I think it has absolutely nothing to do with gender. Some people may want to make it about gender. To me, it has absolutely nothing to do with it. To me, it's just the writing. The fact that we had very little foreshadowing, very little build-up, okay, very little setup for the audience to understand how powerful a potential fusion between Kale and Caulifla would be. So if the potential power of the fusion had been discussed or alluded to in the past, before we actually got to see the fusion in action, I think people would have been a lot more forgiving. And again, it has nothing to do with gender. If this were two male characters fusing, we would still have these things that, people talk about and discuss and criticize. It's the exact same issue I had when Goku went Super Saiyan God when he was teaming up with Hit. I was like, wait a minute, hold on here. He can still do that? Okay. Even though he hasn't used it in a very long time, since like Battle of Gods territory, and he's been scaling his opponents since then by spamming Super Saiyan Blue, so it's like, hold on a minute, if he could go Super Saiyan God, why is he spamming Super Saiyan Blue? But anyway, the episode does kind of like attempt to give like a vague explanation in regards to why these things are happening in terms of like the increments in power. According to Piccolo, Goku's power is triggering Kefla to become even more powerful. So the two Saiyans have been continuously feeding off each other. It's a back and forth type of thing. And then according to Whis, the thing that triggered Goku to go into Ultra Instinct in the first place was Kefla's power, because according to Whis, Kefla's power was equal to the Genkidama explosion that Goku survived, after which he went Ultra Instinct for the first time ever. So apparently, in order to reach Ultra Instinct, you just need a trigger, something that's big enough that forces you out of your shell. And so it doesn't really matter. We thought at first that Goku had absorbed the Spirit Bomb energy, but apparently it was just a trigger for him to break the shell, just like Kefla turned out to be a trigger. So you just need a trigger to reach Ultra Instinct, which, considering Vegeta's statement in this episode, in which he says that he wants to master it before Goku does, I kind of wonder what Vegeta's trigger is going to be for him to go Ultra Instinct. So if you have any suggestions or predictions on what that trigger could be for Vegeta, please let me know in the comment section. We also get a flashback to Whis training Vegeta and Goku, and I'm really glad that this was part of the episode, because I actually had forgotten about this statement in which Whis says that not even Beerus has mastered Ultra Instinct, which makes perfect sense story-wise, because if Beerus had mastered it, I'm pretty sure that Goku would not have been able to land a single hit on Beerus in Battle of Gods. Another thing I really enjoyed about the explanation is that it kind of got me thinking about how the human brain works, and how the neurons have to fire in order for your brain to send a signal to your body to move an arm or a leg or to dodge or whatever. But the problem is that speed is just way too slow when it comes to these opponents, like somebody like Jiren, right? So you have to train your body to move before those neurons even fire, which to us as humans is something that is just kind of like almost impossible for us to imagine, because how would that even work? But that's because it's a god level feat. So from a human's rational perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it makes sense for somebody who's reaching that god level tier. And that explanation actually goes hand in hand with the reason as to why Kefla was capable of tanking pretty much every single hit that Goku dealt. It was like the only hit she didn't tank was the final Kamehameha, but aside from that, she was sent flying and stuff, but she got back up every time. She even made fun of one of those punches. And at first I thought it was actually there are some physical hits, like Goku does make direct contact, but in addition, it also seems like he's using the air pressure of his punches to hit her. And I was actually very confused, especially in this scene, because like Kefla, again, she's sent flying. She's in Super Saiyan 2, by the way, Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. She's sent flying, and I don't know if Goku landed a direct hit or it was actually the air pressure or like maybe the aura that actually sent her flying. But what do you think? Let me know. That being said, if you take anything away from this video, it is that Goku's reaction speed, his dodging ability is instinctual, but unfortunately his attack is not. So he still has to think about what attacks he's going to do. He still has to process that. So unfortunately, that limitation, as of right now, has stopped him from tapping into the Ultra Instinct's form true power. By the way, quick shout out to the intermission image. It was a nice change. But anyway, going back to the attack power, I kind of got the impression that the episode was implying that since Kefla at the very end was cornered and she didn't know what to do and she was desperate, that actually made her stronger because she wasn't even thinking at that point. She was just like, like just having a rage fit, right? And that made her stronger to the point where Roshi even says that if one of those blasts hit Goku, he would not be able to survive it. So I was like, holy crap. I mean, again, how Kefla is this strong is beyond me. It's like these feats are insane. The power is just way too much. Just think about that for a second, all right? A blast from a powered up Super Saiyan 2 Kefla would have been able to kill Goku, according to Roshi. That is insane to me, okay? And at first, I didn't believe it, but given the fact that Goku actually makes the effort to dodge these blasts, these energy lasers, and then later on, he actually dodges the big one, the big blast, I was like, well, maybe there is some truth to Roshi's statement. So again, that blast would have been able to kill an Ultra Instinct Goku. And at one point, one of the lasers actually grazes him at one point, and he is not looking happy about that, let me tell you. So with that stated, and I may be wrong, but I get the impression that there was a pretty big sigh of relief when each of you saw Goku take the Kamehameha and surf the beam to dodge it and then just come in and plug the Kamehameha in Kefla's face. It almost felt like I was watching a skateboarder just using his hands, just like going like, yep, here we go. I can't survive the beam, but I can dodge it, and I'm gonna plug it right here. Boom! Look at this shot. The art in this episode I thought was phenomenal. It was a pretty cool moment, especially with the repeat shots, in addition with the music kind of like building up the hype. It was very well executed, I thought. And another question that I brought up in one of my previous reviews for Dragon Ball Super, which kind of links directly into this moment, is do you think that Kefla, being this powerful, was sending the right message? The fact that you had two newly introduced Saiyans, and they were just automatically this strong because they had this bubbly feeling, and automatically they were just this powerhouse, right? Do you think that sends the right message? Where, on the other hand, Goku has been training his entire life, like the entirety of the series, Goku has been training to achieve this level of power. So it's kind of like, okay, like what message are we trying to send here? Yet at the same time, and this may seem like a contradiction, when I saw them get eliminated and hit the bleachers, there was a part of me that thought, oh, I think I'm gonna miss these two, because they were fun. And so overall, despite the flaws, I actually really enjoyed this episode. Jiren obviously awakens because he feels Goku's presence, and he's like, okay, he's like working to master Ultra Instinct. I better stop meditating. I better stop reading the newspaper in the toilet. And now the Namekians are literally the only hope left for Universe 6 to stay in the game, which I think the silver lining to that is that at least we'll get to see, hopefully we'll get to see more characters from Universe 3 and Universe 4 and some of the ones that are left give the protagonists or the main characters of Universe 7 struggle. And hopefully those characters will shine, even though they'll probably be eliminated because they're not main characters. But hopefully they'll be wacky and interesting and unique in their own way. And speaking of which, we got the preview here. And I have to be honest, it does not look good for 18. Look at that face. I mean, she seems like she seems worried, to say the least. And in this episode, actually, if you notice, there's been a pattern of 17 helping 18 out. So we know, thanks to the spoilers, that somebody from Universe 7 is on the chopping block. They're going to go soon. It may be 18. She's fighting Ribrianne. Ribrianne seems to attain a new transformation according to the preview. She seems to go back into her Rosalina form. I like to call her Rosalina form. But yeah, she's getting a power up. So we'll see how 18 matches up against it. Hopefully she's capable of, overpowering her and staying in the game a little longer, because I want to see 18. I want to see more of her. I want to see more of the androids, and it seems like that's what we will be getting next week with their combinations. So this is going to be a total troll comment, but hopefully Ribrianne's new transformation is not Ultra Instinct level. And that's going to do it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please thumb up the review if you thought that I added something to the conversation. I appreciate the thumbs up. If you don't, that's okay too. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below with your thoughts about the episode. And lastly, a huge mention to Hiromi Tsuru, the voice actress for Bulma, who recently passed away. It's a sad situation. Shout out to her loved ones, and I hope you rest in peace. Thank you for everything. Catch you guys later.